So I'm starting with a face that is moisturized and prepped, and I am applying Revlon's Color Stay foundation, and the color is in caramel, and it is the combination oily skin formula. I am using a flat top fluffy brush by e.l.f. to apply my foundation. And please don't be alarmed, I did not actually blend the makeup all the way to my hairline. I should have, but as I apply bronzer later on, hopefully, or contour, it's going to kind of even that out. Next, I am going to use a beauty blender, generic type, and the setting spray. It's damp, but I'm going to moisten it just a little bit more with some spray. And this is the knockoff brand beauty blender, and I don't like it. I'm also using Revlon Color Stay as my concealer to highlight and brighten my under eye area. And you'll see in just a second that I used the knockoff beauty blender, and I really didn't like it. It was really firm, and it didn't kind of get soft enough to where I could blend out my concealer. So you're going to see that face, yes. So on to my handy dandy sponge. It is dirty because I use it all the time, but I absolutely love it. It really gets into my crevices and creases underneath my eye. And so I am blending out that concealer all nice and neat. And you'll see that I didn't apply any more concealer to my sponge, but I'm going to use that sponge and dab it on my chin, and then also down my nose, and kind of right in between my eyebrows. I might have, there we go. I thought I took the clip out, but it's still there. Alright, now we're using Makeup Forever, and the powder that I'm using, the name is actually worn off, so I have no idea what the shade is, but if I do figure that out, I will list it below. But I'm using just the sponge that comes in the bottom to set my under eye concealer. I actually like using a sponge better than the brushes. It seems to really, again, get into those fine lines and crevices, and it helps set it to where there's no creasing throughout the day. I just absolutely love it. I prefer this over a brush. Who knows, maybe I'll change my mind later, but right now this is my fave way to apply concealer and setting powder. Next, I am going to use MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and the color that I'm using is in medium deep, and I am using a fluffy brush, face brush, just to apply that to really set my foundation. I am oily as it is, so I need all the help to keep it matte, but at the same time I still like a little bit of a glow. And then next I am using NYX's Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation, and the color that I'm using to kind of contour and also bronze myself is in Deep Dark. Absolutely love this. The color that it gives is a rich, deep color. It's not too red. It's also not too cool tone for me. So I just love it. That's why I use it for a combination of both contouring and also just warming up my face. You can see me trying to touch into that hairline that I did not blend my foundation into. So sorry guys, but it's my first video. I'll do better next time. And the brush that I'm using to apply that is a double-ended brush by e.l.f. Absolutely love that. Next, you're going to see me use the smaller end to go ahead and contour my nose. Made a little wink there. Hope you liked it. Next, you'll see me drawing two lines down the center of my nose. It is going to help lift the bridge just a little bit and just give it some definition. For some reason, anytime I do makeup, I can never not contour my nose. I remember when I was young and I would see my mom doing her makeup all the time. That was one of the main things that she always did, and it just stuck with me, and I really like the way that it gives just the kind of, I would say, crisp and sharpness that it gives my face. Having a defined nose. Alright, so now I'm using a fluffy, tiny brush to soften up the lines as I also soften them up with my fingers. Moving on to the eyelids. I am using a concealer to neutralize the dark tint of my eyelids, and the concealer that I'm using is by Iman. It is second to none, and the color that I am in is Sand Medium. So I zoomed on in, and after that I am going to apply an eyeshadow, and the eyeshadow is actually going to be from Hard Candy's Birthday Suit eyeshadow palette, and the color that I'm using is basically a very warm orange brown type of color. It's on the lighter end, just kind of giving me a neutral wash. For some reason my undertone is making it look different than what it really is. Next, I am getting a deep color to work with my crease, and the color that I am using in my crease is by Smashbox, and the color is in Cinnamon Toast. Actually, it's actually not Cinnamon Toast, it's Roast. And it's Smashbox. It is a trio palette, and I'm using that dark color to really go above my crease. I have hooded eyes. No, not hooded eyes. I have deep set eyes. And so what I'm trying to do is really make the brow bone not come so far out to create the illusion of depth higher up than what it actually is. So that's why I'm using a dark color on my brow bone. You see me pull it in towards my inner eye area. That's to make the look a little bit more rounded, and at the same time I'm still going to flick it all the way out to give it a cat eye as well. Now I'm using a fluffy brush, and I'm just blending out some of those lines to make it a little bit more blended. Next, what I'm doing is I am further buffing out the color with a smaller pencil brush by e.l.f. and I am making little circles to again blend out so it's not harsh. Now as we skip along, I am now using an eyeshadow and it's also by NYX, and I wet it to give it a little bit more of a shimmery look. The color is called Rust, and it is also in a palette, and the palette that I have is TS12 by NYX. And so I'm using a synthetic flat brush, and again I just wet the brush with a setting spray to really give it a little bit more of a satin sheen color, and then it also helps the color to stay on my eyelids when I wet it. Next, I am adding a color to complement what I just added on my lid, and it's by Bodyography, and the color is in Vixen, and it's just warming up right in between the brow bone and the crease, just connecting the two. Now we are coming into the liner, and you guys have really tried to get the liner on camera, but I was not able to, so I apologize for that. Again, I'm so new at this, so you have to just work with me. It will be better next time. But I did a very winged out liner, pretty dramatic for me. And a quick tip, you guys, is if you're doing liner and if you do have deep set eyes or even a hooded eye, sometimes it can be very difficult to work with. You just have to practice, and you can clean up the sides by concealer and a brush. That's what I did to create that really sharp line. You can use tape if you like, but I just like to use concealer. For some reason, it's just easier for me. Now what I'm doing in my inner tear duct area is just applying a light pinky shimmer just to kind of make my eyes pop. And now as we move on to the blush, the blush is in an e.l.f. palette set, and the blush is basically a really light, I want to say kind of like an amber color. It's showing up kind of pink. It could be because my brush is dirty. And I'm just gonna pile on that blush. I love me some blush. If you have an oblong face, blush really kind of just plumps it up a little bit, and it makes it look not so long and harsh. So I really like that. Now you'll see me going in with a powder brush with no product on it, and I'm just kind of diffusing blush just a little bit so it's not so strong and in your face. And that is a quick glimpse in the mirror. Now I'm just kind of brushing. I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of the brush on my face. But anyways, we are moving on to highlight, and I'm going to use Laura Geller highlight, and the color that I am using is in Golden Apricot, and I'm just going to put that on the heights of my cheekbones, and then also down the center of my nose and on the tip. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara to my bottom lashes to finish the look, and any mascara will work. It's just your preference. If you have kind of like a dramatic top, you want to kind of balance it out on bottom. So that is my look. I hope you guys love it, and I'll see you in the next video.